Okay, it's around 4, and I put these contacts in around 8. I hope they weren't daily wear because you only gave me the one pair that I left the office in to like wear as much as possible until like for a week. So, okay, how did it go? Well, today in particular, this morning, I thought that I would go for a nice, relaxing drive over a multi lane highway that's not too busy so that I could gaze off into the expanse and have a lot of peripheral stimulation that I was loosely attending to, but not hyper focusing on or fixating on, mentally speaking. And it also offers the opportunity for intermittent near accommodation because you're looking at your tachometer, you're looking at the song on the radio display. You get the idea. So, I was driving for a couple hours for the sake of divergence. How that went? Well, I'll tell you how that went really briefly, and then we're going to get to the really important part, which is understanding what I'm saying to you each week, because I recognize that you aren't understanding me. And so you think that I am trying to tell you things of which you are familiar with. And I think that you are probably familiar with this, but not since like textbook days. And I know this because I've like found research, and not like one-off research, but like lots of research about this phenomenon. So I'm not a special snowflake. Like, it's really real. Like, this is actually a known thing in science, and it's the basis for how they do research about not just visual processing, but like cortical processing, like your whole brain, as far as like not just sight, but general perception, usually with respect to subliminal messages. Like, you know, the rumor about how they like put like cigarette ads or popcorn ads in your movies in like only one single frame, and it's not enough that you notice, but it's enough that everybody gets up and, you know, goes and takes a smoke break or buys more popcorn. They don't do that. The cigarette burn in the corner, that is actually real, which is double entendre because it signals the end of the reel in the film. Moving on, what we've got so far. As I was driving, I was noticing that briefly, so like, you know, just a quick monocular check by closing the other eye. It looks cloudy for both eyes, and it's not the lenses, and it's really not the contacts. The right experiences this phenomenon more than the left, but when this is happening, it's like, okay, things are generally blurry at all distances, and everything is way flatter as like a 2D picture than ever before. And things also look very small and very far away, also more than their normal baseline for me. So well, okay, are your eyes just like stuck in near focus? No, because I said at all distances, including a near distance. So, like, what is the deal? Did I adapt to the monocular or single ocular, whatever, prism too quickly? Or, like, what is the deal? Because it's like both eyes are like, oh, well, if we rest here, then we're not going to show you anything clearly. Not distance, not near, nothing. And, well, okay, is it fill in the blank? But if I monocularly give it a couple of like blinks, yeah, I can see clearly with each eye at any distance, near to far. It's only when both eyes are open that they like cloud over to varying degrees, and it's like, that's cool. It makes sense that fixing the problem, fixing my gaze would cause everything to be cloudy and far away and small and flat and blurry. How unfortunate for me. Okay, but what else? Oh, just so you don't feel alone, that also happened with Dr. S. So they were really excited because like they're doing the prism bar test for the near target and the far target, and it's like, well, but your eyes are fine. You have such and such vergences that you're producing. That can be the case, but it's vergences without any accommodation, because I'm not accommodating. They said, tell me when it's 1 or 2, and I said, should I bring it into focus? And they said no. So I sat there and stared blankly, and I guess my eyes, bless, performed the vergences appropriately, neurologically speaking, but I'm literally just staring blankly and loosely or generally at the near and far target. So not to be ungrateful, but I'm not. I'd like to see something clearly, for heaven's sakes. Okay. Anyway, that was someone else. You're a brand new person with your own ideas. Maybe it'll go better. I'm hoping. Okay, so that covers how today went, and I cannot wait to take these contacts out, good God. But just so that we can finally clear up why everything seems so unstable and I'm not giving you any quality information, I need to explain. So there seems to be this assumption that it's like when both of my eyes are open and I am looking through something that should be permitting feedback as far as eye position, it is a lot for my brain to aim both eyes at different targets. If it's more than, it's like, okay, the Bengalini striated glasses or whatever it is. I honestly screwed up the first test that we did in the most recent appointment because I couldn't tell, was I supposed to stare, relax, and kind of like look at it as though I was expecting to try and see something? Yes, then I should definitely like turn the wheel a little bit. Or were you asking me to line up the red line and the white dot with my brain, you know, using my eyes? Because I can do that. I stare blankly and I can relax, don't try to focus. And yeah, I can like get it there without turning the wheel part at all, which doesn't give you any useful information as far as like treating me. But I didn't know, like, which one do you want me to do? Do you want to line it up with the wheel, or do you want me to like do it with my brain? Because I can do it with my brain. I just don't accommodate. I guess I just manually with my mind remaneuver my eyes. It's a great old time. So I'm sure that doesn't make any sense to anyone, but fine. Another thing is, well, okay, but what about when we're looking at the distance Snellen chart? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about putting the, whatever we think is the best distance, visual acuity, spectacle correction for single distance, and my brain trying to line up the eyes for that. Because here's the thing, the chart itself, I can probably make the chart target one single square of a chart. But the eyes, so here is an example of what it was like for me driving. And I was trying to tell everyone about this, from Dr. Conley to Dr. Shidlovsky to both of their VT techs to, well, kind of you now. So it looks like this. You are at a stoplight in your car and you're the first at the line. So you're like, you're not behind any cars and it's red. So you're stopped and you have, you know, the traffic lights hanging. And then usually to the right on the same post as where the lights are, you also have whatever the name of the street is. So the street sign. And I can briefly, you know, check each eye and see like which one is clear. What does it look like? Let me show you what my brain has historically had to try and fuse. And I recognize that research says that it has to be like this huge, like 2 diopter difference between the eyes. Or actually, I think it said it was like 3, before the patient will like even notice. Well, good for those patients, and aren't I jealous? Because I see that I should not be having this experience. But I'm telling you, this is the visual experience. And it is a lot to have. Okay, so here's one, and here's the other. And let's look at where it says, see, no, Carroll Avenue. That's the name of the street. And it's, now fuse the images. No. Good luck with that. Okay, but that's your distance correction for both eyes. Okay, well, another example. Here is something. I printed this off from whatever research, and it's all in grayscale. So what they're doing is they're showing one eye and the other eye some kind of moving or not stimuli that are conflicting enough between the eyes that here is the conscious precept. Like, this is what the patients are reporting. Good for them. I have color coded the thing. So, wow, you cannot see any of the colors. That is such a bummer. Well, I tried. Okay, so the right eye is green. Shaded it in, oh well. And the left eye is red. I'll bring these, even though you're not gonna care or watch this video, but all right. And then here we have the conscious precept, which you'll notice that's actually colored in yellow for luster. Let's say that this here is moving or not, because it doesn't really matter. In the other circle, it's like little green dots kind of peppered through unevenly, and then the rest is shaded in red around that. And then it gets like more intense with the green and the red like being tightly intermixed near whatever this is. So it's like when you have those red and green heart charts that you wear with the green and red glasses, or no, they're red, white, and black. Red, white, and black, whatever. That's the chart, and the glasses are red and green, or red and cyan, whatever. And you put on everything and you read the chart. And part of the chart is anti-suppression. Got it. And so for some of us, you're reading the chart and you read all of the chart successfully, and they get really excited and they believe that both, like the whole chart was just on the whole time, but it's not. You're reading and you are trying to make all of the chart visible to you behind the glasses the entire time. But what's happening is it's fluctuating like very rapidly between what you can and can't see, and not evenly. So for me, the left eye doesn't experience much suppression, if ever. Never mind about what position it may or may not have been found in when I appear to your office. I'm telling you, this is my experience. So whenever I put on the glasses, sometimes initially I won't get information perceived from the right eye, and kind of stare and concentrate and relax and wait for hopefully nature to do its thing and coordinate everything, and I'll then get some sensory information to the right eye. Huzzah! Usually it'll be more like blurry and slightly faint, but okay. Will the whole thing come on at once? Not exactly. For autostereograms, of which I can definitely do, and also the Titmus tests with the circles, the Wirt circles or whatever, I can get up to like 70 seconds of arc. It's all super blurry, but I can get it with almost any type of refractive lens covering me, because I have a lot of glasses and I have a lot of contacts, and didn't know exactly what I was supposed to be wearing, theoretically, until I came to see you. now that I've seen you, I only wear the prescription that you sent me home with. There are no other anythings. Prior to that, and not being seen by anyone, I could wear whatever, and I could also perceive whatever. Up to 70 seconds apart. So moving on from that. With the red, white, and black heart charts and red and green glasses, the way that this goes down is you're reading along and it kind of comes open for you, like, oh, there it is. Oh, there I can perceive it as you're reading. So there's no gap in how this is going. But is the whole chart there all the time? No, except for the left eye's vision. And I recognize the goal is to bring all of the chart there all of the time. And I cannot give you a solid answer yet as to why that is not usually a thing. Okay. Or at least starting out. And then after that, usually my binocularity train wrecks so hard, particularly after vision therapy. Anyway, let's move on to the next perception. So here's a sort of easier one. It has examples of different stimuli shown to each eye and like kind of how the patient is perceiving them because they are super conflicting. Now, I want you to imagine this and this. Those aren't stable images. The parts that are coming through as the red or the blue or the cyan and magenta or whatever special languages you call them, those aren't stable. They're kind of melting, and in some places you're seeing more blue, in some places you're seeing more red, and it's happening really quickly. So when the question is like, what are you seeing? I can't answer that because this is fluctuating so rapidly. There's no way to give you like one side is blurry, one side is clear, because okay, then there's just this, and you're not making the whole picture. I am making an ugly amalgamation of the picture, and it's fluctuating a lot. And remember, these are the same size stimuli as far as scaling goes that these people are looking at, like the face is the same, but Carroll Boulevard is like not the same. So I'm asking to fuse two similar images, but they're not like really similar and in different positions. They're similar and different sizes and shapes. Also, fun fact, say that one is reading something like a large piece of text and they're wearing these glasses with the contacts or without. It looks like it will buckle up sometimes, or or letters will be bigger or smaller than the others. And now, after wearing these glasses, starting initially, so like the very first time you sent me home with these, the letters, after like the end of the day. And I'm like, cool. Hopefully that is a desired treatment effect and means something good. It's a little disconcerting, but I just tuned it out. Now, our final diagram. Here is some more mismatched stimuli. And when we come over here, you can see that like there's this little part where it started to like kind of fade back in for a second instead of like switching totally over. So it's like they're switching from red to green as far as the perception. And then like this kind of blends and then goes back. Yes. Except they're also like not the wrong size and shapes, and the eyes are misaligned, and oh my God. No wonder I am so miserable. Like, how many different visual complaints is that? The anisoconia, the things you've obviously tested and found some kind of a discrepancy with. I'm not entirely sure my ears are like even as far as like position to my head, because all of my glasses, they like are tilted, like one of the ears doesn't set down. when I put them onto my face. So I can't even guarantee that, like, heaven help me if I get bumped in the face and the glasses turn. I don't have any way of gauging, like, did I misalign my eyes by my glasses bending on accident and I didn't notice? And then, oh my God, optical center is off forever. And that's my vision. So, I covered everything? I think so. Those are things that you need to know, because this thing about yo-yoing, like, oh, the eyes won't stay still to like make fusion, or the perception is like the two stacked but not quite. Yeah, I got, if it was that simple, somebody might have been able to help me well beyond now. The other thing is that occasionally, and I didn't have this drawn out, so I will now attempt to do it very quickly. Say that you have something kind of similar enough, and I'm using two different colors, not that it matters because apparently you can't see any color, but whatever. And we are looking at the world's ugliest snowman through red and green glasses, or in this case, purple and black. Frequently, when I say there's doubling, this is what it is. So there's like a mostly clear-ish, I mean, conditions apply. Nothing's been clear since 2 weeks ago, thanks. But usually there's like a mostly clear central purple picture of whatever it is that I'm looking at or trying to read, or I don't know, whatever. And then this is like a little faint added bonus over to the right. Great. Which I assume means, as my eyes have previously informed me, that that is the right eye having some kind of an in turn and not lining up with the left. So everything over there is uncomfortable. And I know this because of the weird, like, if I, and I mean, like, I can't see this, like my phone is blurry, and that's great. And if I do sort of this weird, like hyper concentration focus thing, I can, you know, I'm focusing and my right eye is like, meh, and there's like, oh, that's not good. There's this blank, like faint, blurry picture, although they look kind of the same now as far as like strength, and it's to the side and it comes in like right next to it. Although historically speaking, whenever I do that and I look forward and I hyper focus with the left, so it should theoretically be centered, and the right is sharply turned in for that accommodative esotropia. Well, every time in the past, since like, I don't know, 11 and on, when I discovered I had that superpower, the image on the right is faint and slides into the true image on the left. Fine. However, just now when I did that, that was priceless, because that's the central image, and instead of the usual, which is this, sliding to stack into the correct position when the eyes are as orthotropic as they're going to get, it was here, you know, lower. And then I don't know how it got. Are we sure that we're moving in the right direction? Because I'm pretty sure I also have scoliosis in my neck. My shoulders are definitely uneven, and so are my hips. And in a weird way, that's like this spiraling motion throughout my entire body, all the way down to my right ankle. The left one seems to be okay, but the hip is like super turned out. But I don't exactly know what is going on with the right hip, because it's like the right hip is lifted, but the hip itself is rotated across my body, but the femur is rotated out, which goes further down the leg, and then my foot like sickles, but it sickles weird. Like this knuckle kind of bends out in a way, and this heel like comes in. So it's not like it lost arch. It's more like it has the arch and then got like punched in even harder and resting on the side of my foot when I walk around. So it looks like a foot drop, but it's more like the entire hip is lifted and it needs to come down. I don't know what that means for anything else. And if there was something that I could do to figure it out, I do a lot of Pilates and yoga, which is nothing but intero and proprioceptive movement practices on the assumption that you give your body an opportunity to give it a good feel for how it likes to live and maneuver, and you kind of look around at your body, except I can't because I can't look down because that was the rules. Don't look down. So I just like don't see anything near ever now. Or like look down in Pilates. I just close my eyes a lot now. And don't get any more visual feedback. But the idea is to give your body an opportunity to feel how it should be, to check in for visual confirmation or a correction. And, it's a practice. So we don't fix our body in one afternoon, just the same way that we don't fix our eyes in one afternoon. So whenever I am visibly upset, it's not because I didn't get it right. Look at my eyes. Look at the degree of myopia I have. Look at the frustration I can already feel emanating from everyone in the room. The fact that I'm not just, why am I not giving you any good information? I am giving you good information. You're not listening. There's no other way to say it. So all of this information, the sensory information about like what things look like and how it's fluctuating rapidly, it's doing this all the time in addition to the yo-yoing and the vibrating and so the reason that I can't give you any quality information is because, frankly, I dare you to put on some kind of, what do they call them? The little, like, Oculus or whatever, like 3D adventure thing, and it behaves the same way. And, like, good luck making sense of your visual environment. Like, good for me. Also, friendly reminder that the 3 base down prisms, bilaterally speaking, made me think that the ceilings were crashing down on me, and I pretty much became agoraphobic after that, so we will not be trying that again. Oddly, he did that over like a medium ad bifocal lens for both a soft lens that he had I think it was the AccuView or no, NewView. Doesn't matter. The green ones that I tried before in your office that we quickly dispensed with. And also the Synergize with the solid center and the soft skirt. And I recognize that those are supposed to be more comfortable. And technically they are, because I've tried hard contacts without the skirt once, and that was such a disaster. I tried those whenever I had like been done with Dr. Moody for like at least 3 or 4 years. And then it was like, oh, great, I can't see. Let's go back to Dr. Moody. And I go back there and he's like, oh, you have astigmatism, so here's your hard contacts. And I'm like, oh, okay, because I'm like not really wanted the soft ones, but whatever. I'm not wearing glasses anymore. Good God. And I really tried. It felt better to go outside and like not blink at all when it was like really cold, because they were just so ungodly, unbearable. And I did the wearing schedule and it was like, I guess I'm just going to be blind because I cannot use these. And so he referred me. So my childhood pediatric ophthalmologist referred me to Dr. Laura Pels, who unfortunately just retired. And she put in soft contacts and it was like, wow, is it in yet? Couldn't feel it at all. Could totally see. And that was the end of that. For like 3 decades. Now, one final thing to touch on. So I know that you and UT Southwestern really feel uncomfortable with like how I'm not easy. And I get that. Think of it as a challenge. Like you could, First of all, I see everybody's selfies, and I am just the first person to complain about this. But myopia is on the rise, and phones are super real. And I see people's kids, and it's like, oh, your kid doesn't wear any glasses, and obviously should, or should do something because their eyes are like, okay. So there will be more people, including adults, that are having a similar experience as myself, maybe not with the accommodative esotropia. But like, I'm just the first to complain. So, and I had stereopsis, believe it or not, at a very large point in my life. In fact, oddly, with my situation now, like I've never needed to do autostereograms, so I just didn't care. And it's like, yeah, I can't see that. But now I can see them. And I was told by the vision therapist that like, I shouldn't be able to see that. And they were both like really excited, like, oh my God, you can see that. And it's like, yeah, I can. That's really awkward, isn't it? Because you were not thinking that I was capable, and I am capable, and nothing is going according to plan. And twice I had vision therapists say to me, like, this has never not worked before. And more to the point, it has definitely never caused a patient to deteriorate so severely and so quickly, with such a frustrating time of getting them back to the unfortunately not optimal baseline of which they arrived to our practice in. And granted, nothing in my patient history gave them much of an idea of like what was wrong. Granted, they seemed to be very concerned about reading. That was not a phenomenon, but okay. Get a master's degree, they said. There'll be lots of jobs for you, they said. Master of Family Therapy here, licensed by state and so forth, although not practicing because I decided I hated it. I got the degree. The job sucked. It paid less than I made as a lifeguarding instructor trainer. And why bother working harder and alone and dealing with people complaining all day when I could be making a real difference by teaching kids how to save a life and making our pools safer? Like, that's awesome. So I am, I guess, super myopic because I decided to lock myself indoors all day and never get any vitamin D and read a bunch of college textbooks. And I was dumb because it certainly didn't result in getting better compensation or, heaven forbid, health insurance. So I give quality information, but my visual system is very pissed off, and I do not seem to be getting any lens correction as far as how the eyes cooperate to make them want to fuse any images. And so like I'll be driving and I'll be like, okay, blink, blink, blink. It's not that my contacts are dry. What's happening? Can you see? Can you see? Oh God, they're both blurry. Okay, blink, blink, blink. No, I can see near and far. Blink, blink, blink. Oh, I can still see near. Open my eyes. Cloud. What? Okay, is it the blinking? Blink, blink, blink. No, it's still cloudy. So there's that. Hopefully, and I can already feel like I'm trying to accommodate so that I can see my phone, and it's like, oh, what if we turn in? So let me, there, I can see it. Well, are you focusing with both on this one? There's no way it's focused. But so it's like there's a faint yo-yoing, but also remember, if I had to do anti-suppression activities for any reason as an adult, and then also notice that it's not always like on or off, like in the stimuli in the articles where it shows you two very different, one is half a house and one is half a face in two different colors. And it's not, now I lost the train of thought. It's not quite as simple as like, oh, well, you're only going to see the red one or you're only going to see the blue one. I recognize that that happens for a vast majority of people, but that is not what has historically happened to me. On the one hand, hooray, because that means that the brain is trying to fuse the images all the time. On the other hand, it means that I don't think that you're quite getting what you expected, although maybe you are. I don't know what prisms are in front of this eye or what their strength and prescription is, and I don't know what the strength and prescription is of the contacts that I've been issued underneath these. I don't even know if they were for daily wear, which is what I kind of assume they are, or if they were a week long, 1 to 2 weeks, like the AccuView Oasis, where it's like, yeah, just make sure that you clean these and you do these and not the circles. I got it. I know how to take care of soft contacts. But none of that was communicated to me. It was just like, you got solution at home, right? Yes, I do. And I do know how to take care of contacts, and I have been doing that very diligently, but like, were y'all just banking on the fact that I would not tolerate contacts? Because for some reason, people do not believe that I have ever worn contacts and that I would just, quit and be like, yeah, I just went back to the glasses. Because I can, God willing, when I can actually like force my eyes to do something before they're like, okay, we're just not going to show you anything. Sometimes stuff is really clear. Oh, well, is it just clear with the fill in the blank eye that you may perceive is better or less amblyopic for me? Actually, they're, to me, they look pretty comparable as far as the clarity and contrast. Not that that matters a lick, because they just, oh, we're doing both eyes open. And it's just a nightmare. So depending on where I'm looking, different parts of the images are going to be more clear or less or whatever. And it's really frustrating. And now I've talked a lot, and even just talking about this and being like, this is what it looks like, is so stressful for me, because this is going to be the third time that someone has gone through the things they always go through with each patient. We only do these steps in these order. You always do astigmatism last when you're using the phoropter. Personally, I have reason to suspect that the degree of astigmatism that I experience looking around at different depths changes fairly significantly. I don't really think that you've gotten this far in the video, so it probably doesn't matter why I have that belief. Although I will say that when someone put a -650 with 0.75 astigmatism at the 90-degree axis on my left eye, it was like, oh my God, there's all the letters. Like, that's exactly what I expect to see when I look at the Snellen chart. And this one, there was more trouble because, I mean, honestly, if you have more than 5 diopters of nearsightedness, you're not worthy of sight. You can't tell the difference between X amount of, 0.25 or 0.75 of astigmatism, but you can. And I would gladly pay for like specialty soft contacts that were single distance and then put whatever on top of that. Because that's definitely worth the money to me to get an accurate soft contact lens that is like my actual prescription and not that, it's close enough, just do your best. I mean, I feel like not getting that accurate prescription is what has caused binocular comfort and fusion to be so stressful, because it's like we're having to focus and compete all the time. Yay for binocular rivalry. Okay, well, see, and now I want to close an eye. So that's clear, and this is not clear. And it should be, but it's very small and blurry and far away. And you know what? If I was to do the opposite, well, no. It's like they switch. Where one, yeah, it's like almost like this one is a little bit more distance focused, and this one is a little bit more near focused. And that's not always the same. It's like sometimes it'll be, well, this one is showing me more distance and this one is showing me more near. And it's a surprise. Which am I going to get? And I would wager that maybe some of the lens is focused to different degrees, because bodies are weird and cool, and those lenses are kind of squishy and, malleable. Which is another reason that I think like maybe ortho-K would be a good idea. Like, even if you just like decreased my myopia by like 1 diopter, at least I'd be like, in a uniform spherical shape, maybe. Oh, I can dream. Okay, so the point is my phone is actually past arm's length. So we're here and here. I'm not touching it now. And where it says like the little time underneath, that is not something that I can accommodate on. I can kind of make it 1, maybe, I think. Also, as I was driving, yes, peripheral doubling, more so on the right, which I say that, okay, while I was driving. Also, when I'm looking around my house, like I'm just sitting here looking casually, oh yeah, looking side to side, there's doubling on the right and left, which I politely try to tune out and assume that the therapeutic part of the prism is just going to do its thing, and that'll be great. And I'll just continue to casually look around and try to focus as is generally appropriate for living in the world, and not trying too hard, because those people who like really have to get it right. Oh God, I'm not even competitive. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm learning a new skill. It's probably gonna suck for a while, and then with patience with myself and grace and time and practice, it'll get better, because I have learned a lot of things later in life, and that has taught me that I do have neuroplasticity and I can learn new things, and that's awesome. Like to see autostereograms. And so like there's hope. I can learn things, and it might take me a little while, but that's okay, because I know that I can do it. All I have to do is just like be patient with myself and keep trying, and eventually it'll happen. Like, that is no problem. So I know there's a lot of people like, oh, she just wants to get it right, and she's so hard on herself, and please, those perfectionistic people, I'm like, is good enough? Okay, great. Is good enough. We're not doing it anymore? Good enough is good enough, because C medical students graduated and passed the state exams, so why do I have to be an A+? I am totally solid with being a B-. As long as I'm passing even, then it's fine. We did the thing. So as far as like how hard I'm trying, when I'm in the exam room and I'm attempting to do whatever it is that I'm being asked to do, I try my best. I don't try my, gotta get it right best. I try my, let's really give this a good go best. And not my, oh, yeah, okay, let's do the thing. So like, I know what is appropriate as far as like effort that one should apply to what we are doing to give you feedback. Anyway, I don't think that anything that I say is going to make any difference. I think that you're probably just going to stay the course, and this is what we do, and this is the order that we test things in, and this is what the patient reported, and I'm not deviating from my tests, and I am uninterested in her very weird and long-winded explanations of what she is perceiving, because there's only this handful of choices that people experience, and if she's seeing something else, then maybe it's conversion disorder. But it's not. Other people are obviously like me too, because like these are research papers, and you know what? They're not even research papers by people in the eye care industry. Like, these are on neuroscientists that are, and one of them was for like advertisements, looking at, what people are attending to in their day-to-day life. So it's not even about ophthalmology or optometry. Is this just like a brain thing that people do? And here we are doing kind of the same thing where I'm telling you the images do not match. Okay, so signing off, and I hope you can see that like it's yo-yoing because I can tell by how it feels to me that that's what's happening, and it's the end of the day, and I don't actually have that happen to me before we started all this. I could just look at my phone with these glasses. All right, signing off.